Now, let us analyze this mode of worship from another angle also. You know, there are 5 pillars of Islam. A very famous hadith, it is muttafaqun alayh, narrated by both Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim. And the reporter is Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma. Buniya al-Islamu ala khamsin. The edifice of Islam, the structure of Islam has been built on 5 pillars. Shahadati Allah ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa iqami salate, wa ita'i zakate, wa sawmi ramadana, wa hajjil bayti man istata'a ilayhi sabila. Muttafaqun alayh. So these are the 5 pillars of Islam. Number 1, shahada. Number 2, salah. Number 3, zakah. Number 4, sawm. Number 5, hajj. Now, if you analyze, out of these 5, one pertains to our faith. Shahada is only the expression, outward expression of our faith, our iman. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. This is the shahada. The remaining 4 are 4 modes of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah, zakah, sawm and hajj. You can further divide these 4 into 2 pairs of 2 each. Salah and Sawm are fards, are mandatory on every Muslim male and female. While Zakah and Hajj are only for people who have some money, some wealth. If you have some money and wealth, only then you are required to pay Zakah. Only if you have some money and wealth and you can bear the expenses of Hajj, then only Hajj is farz on you, otherwise not. Man istata'a ilayhi sabila. So there are only 2 modes of worship which are mandatory, which are farz for every Muslim in every condition, male or female. And those are as-salah and Sawm. Now when you look upon these 2, you will find a very big contrast. The salah has been mentioned in the Quran so many times. You may say hundreds of times. Then about the salah, different, rules are given at different places. Somewhere Qiyamul Layl in Surah Al-Muzammil. Somewhere you will find وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَاسْجُدْ لَهُ وَسَبِّحْهُ لَيْلًا طَوِيلًا. Then there were 2 salahs in the very beginning, evening and morning. Then a 3rd one was added. Then the 5 prayers, they were revealed and they were given in the 11th year after the beginning of Wahi, just 1 or 2 years before Hijrah. Then this, all the rules about wuzu, they appear in Surah Ma'idah. Then the salah in the case of fear, Salatul Khawf, in Surah Al-Baqarah, in Surah Al-Nisa. So on and so forth, the whole of the Quran, we may say that these things are distributed throughout the Quran. But now compare with Psalm. The total discussion about Psalm in the Quran is contained in only 6 ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah. All the discussions, the preliminary order about Psalm, that is here. The final commandments about Psalm and rules, final rules, they have also been there in these 6 ayat, out of which I have recited only 4. Then what's the wisdom? Why this Psalm or Siyam has been prescribed on you? That has also been discussed. Why this month of Ramadan has been selected for this particular mode of worship? This reason has also been discussed here. What is the outcome of the dual program of Psalm or Ramadan? That is also discussed here. The final rules are also given here. And the final ayah, the 6th, that gives you the criterion of what is taqwa. So all the discussions about Psalm in only 6 ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah, they are so profound. Again, if you compare, Hajj, at least at 2 places, 2 rukus, 2 sections of Surah Al-Hajj, 2 sections at least of Surah Al-Baqarah. They discuss the rules and regulations and different, manasik of Hajj. But Psalm is very particular in this respect, that the whole discussion, the philosophical discussion, the legal discussion, the gradual imposition of this commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all these things, they are contained in only 6 ayat. If you understand only 6 ayat of the Quran, you know everything about Psalm. And this Psalm is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So it has made things very easy for us. If only we can understand only 6 ayat of the Quran, we can understand everything about Psalm. Now let me begin with the first 2 ayat. This is an opinion from which some people can differ, and there are different views. Let me tell you from the very beginning. But I'm going to say that my opinion, and there are, in our aslaf, in our forefathers, there are people who hold this very opinion that I am going to present before you. Although these days, most of our tafasir don't mention it. I don't know why. But in Tafsir Kabir of Imam Razi Rahmatullah Alayh, you will find the same discussion which I am giving you. Then among the Sahaba also, there were people who have given this opinion which I am going to present before you. And that is that the first 2 ayat are not related to the Psalm of Ramadan. First 2 ayat are related to a preliminary commandment that the Prophet ﷺ gave to the Muslims after he came over to Medina, after Hijrah. And that was to keep fast for 3 days every month. 3 days every month. The 13th, 14th and 15th of every lunar calendar. Keep fast on it. But prior to that also, even to that, let me tell you, when Prophet came to Medina, he saw that because there were Jews in Medina, they used to keep this psalm and fasting on the 10th of Muharram, Ashura. And also the 10th of Hajj. They used to keep this, the custom was there with them. So the Prophet said, why do you keep this psalm? Why do you fast on the 10th of Muharram? They told, this is the day of deliverance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us free from the bondage of Pharaoh and his armies. Pharaoh and his army was drowned on this day. So, as a thankfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we keep fast on this day. The Prophet said, then we have more right as compared to you, because Moses belongs to us. We believe in him. So he gave the order to the Muslims in Medina, you also keep the psalm on this 10th of Muharram. This Ashura. This is how, this mode of worship was introduced, gradually to the Muslims at Medina. Then after some time, the Prophet ﷺ gave a general commandment, a general order, that every Muslim should keep 3 fasts every month. 13th, 14th, 15th of lunar calendar, every month 3. Now, after some time, when people got accustomed to it, they became familiar to it because it was something new for them. They never had any experience of that type. So they were just made accustomed to it and familiar to it gradually. And after, about 16 months or 17 months, then came these commandments. Then the 2 next ayat. But rather, I should say, the rest of the 4 ayat of this surah, of this section of Surah Al-Baqarah, 23rd ruku, then they were revealed.